It's time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Okay, welcome to Dart Talk.
Welcome.
June
4th.
2014.
Wednesday.
Dart Talk brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor who probably won't be watching the show tonight.
I don't blame him.
Big Rangers
Watching
fan.
his Rangers. As well he should. It's been 20 years.
You guys have to apologize. I may sound a little rough tonight. I caught like a little bit of a cold or something. Yeah, Rangers. I can't really speak much. I cannot.
You're distraught.
To be honest, it's rough being a fan. It's rough being a fan and watching your team go down the way the Hawks went down. I mean, I knew it was going to end up to be mucky muck, some lucky bounce goal, and
happens.
Sure enough, it was, and it didn't go our way, and it's just so frustrating. You know, I mean, you watch.
But
these
they won
guys
it last year.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I it's not like the team stinks all of a sudden. And I'm burning my Blackhawks jersey.
Right.
I mean, it was just like that was one of the roughest games I've ever seen a team I wanted to win lose. That was the worst loss since the Bartman game that we've had in Chicago.
No way.
Oh yeah,
No.
that was the worst loss since the
my
Bartman
point.
game.
They've won last year. The Bartman game, they haven't won ever.
The worst loss. They lost the Bartman game.
Well, no, I know, but that had more meaning because they really haven't won a championship in, 93 years or 87 years, whatever it was.
What's the worst loss since? I mean,
it's easier. It's easier to take to me because the Hawks won it last year.
You don't like hockey.
I do like hockey.
No, you don't.
I'm
like
just
it
not
that
as big a
much.
fan as you are.
Disclaim something. Let's disclaim everything.
The views, opinions, rants, and rampages expressed on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect individually or collectively those of our sponsors, co-sponsors, wannabe hosts, hearing-impaired critics, or those with a penchant for attitudinal dysfunction. We at Dart Talk strive to provide you, the listener, with an educational, entertaining, and fun-filled experience each and every week. If after the show you, the listener, find yourself feeling uneducated, unentertained, and or bored, we at Dart Talk consider that your own problem.
Okay, so we disclaim any and all things. I did not have time to update the crawl, although I did fix a typo.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Too bad
apparently,
too bad you had a typo.
If you mistype the wrong name, you get phone calls, emails, and text messages.
You mistyped the wrong name?
Well, I mean,
or you misspelled
apparently,
it?
well, what's the difference? I mean, you mistype it, you misspell it, you
Jim and Joe
leave
are,
a letter
if you,
out
if
of
you're
the cut
supposed
and
to
paste.
Jim and you put Joe, that's the wrong name.
Well, okay.
If you mistype Jim, it's still the right name. It's just typed differently.
Yeah, apparently, if certain people's names aren't represented correctly, then you get emails, text messages, and phone calls to the sponsor saying that like I'm deliberately misspelling names because that's how I roll.
Could they still figure out who it was? I mean, they still knew who it was, right?
At some point, you just got to throw your hands up and say, people will be people, and have a nice day.
But I mean, it's just
I can't, I'm not going to speculate on anything other than that. It is what it is, and it was just kind of.
You still
funny.
knew who the person was, right?
Anyway, I didn't update the crawl, so
except for the typo.
I don't have the Well, I did fix the typo. It wasn't actually a typo. It was like when you cut and paste stuff and you don't drag your cursor all the way over and you leave off a letter.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a typo or is that like, what do you call that? I don't even know.
Oops.
Anyway, I want to talk some doubles today. We got the PDC World Cup of Darts.
We do.
Is starting on Friday. And, again, I don't know how they do these brackets, but literally America's getting hosed and Canada's getting hosed. Canada has to play Japan, which is of all the unseeded teams, the only one that really looks to me to have a shot at anything.
Did they just draw them into the 16?
Who knows?
Or did they just pair?
I don't know. You got to take them at their word. I don't know how the defending champs. Oh well, I guess they did win last year.
Mm-hmm.
The English won last year,
yes.
right? Okay. Well, okay.
I
don't know how they're doing the seeding. I don't know how Australia can even be seeded the way Whitlock's playing. I mean, Whitlock has played like woeful darts all year.
Mm-hmm.
And what are they, like the 3 seed?
Well, how'd they do last year? Maybe they're just going by what they did last year.
I don't even remember. You can effort that or ask the chat room. They'll probably know. Yeah, but so Canada's got a tough first round match against the Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these guys are good steel players who have experience playing PDC TV events. So, and I don't believe Sean Narain does. I don't know if Sean's been on TV yet.
Right.
So I'm sure he's really excited about it, and I can't wait to watch it. It'll be on Friday. I'll be looking at that. The Americans are playing Hungary. I got to figure we're hungrier.
Okay.
So, well, I mean, I'm not going to look up every single name.
Team?
Yeah. I couldn't recognize any of their players.
Okay.
So I'm sure they're good.
Yeah. Of course.
Good enough to be unseeded and invited. I mean, some of these teams, I'm looking at them and I'm like, oh, man, this is going to be they're going to have a rough day. And then some of these teams,
So you think the U.S. has a good shot, though?
At what? Beating Hungary?
Yeah.
If we lose to Hungary, then I believe that, they're going to have a Senate subcommittee.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to be heavy favorites. But that's the Japanese-Canadian match is good Friday
it's good to
match.
watch.
And then, if we get by Hungary, we got to play England.
Yeah.
At home.
Because I don't think they're going to lose to Thailand.
Oh, well, it's not going to be home, actually. Are they in Germany again? They doing this in Germany?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, okay. So the Germans are home. I don't know why they're having this in Germany. I assume it's central. Like it's smack dab in the middle of Europe or something. Right?
I'm sure that's their main reason for doing it.
In having it in Germany?
I don't know.
Okay.
Can't
tell when you're being serious anymore.
They just set up a committee that said, let's just pick a central location. That's our best bet.
Well, if you're going to have like a World Cup of darts, you need to have it somewhere in the middle. I mean, why not have it in Germany? I mean, I remember this one guy telling me they used to have a lot of dart players in Germany. I don't know if it's still that way. I mean, huge leagues, those, couple of hundred guys coming out for blind draws every night, stuff like that. So I don't know if it's still that way anymore. So, yeah, I'm looking through the teams, and we have them in the crawl, but we didn't really talk about them last week. We didn't have time. And actually, we had Mylinda Mannion on last week, and we cut her off. There were a couple of things that she really wanted to talk about that we didn't have time for. So we're going to have her back on the show in a little bit, and we'll continue where we left off. But let's talk this. Let's get this World Cup thing and tell everyone who's going to win now. Well, I'll run down the teams real quick, and how about yay or nay whether they make, say, top 4?
Okay.
You give me a yay or nay. So the 1 seed, I have it somewhere. Where is it? I have it. Is Taylor and
Lewis.
Adrian Lewis. 80 and Taylor. What do you think?
I would say yay.
Yay on the top 4?
Yeah.
All right, the 2nd seed are the Dutch with Van Gerwen and Van Barneveld.
Well, I would also have to say yay.
As long as nothing happens to the van coming from the hotel. Duh. Okay, number 3. So that's 2 yays. Scotland has Peter Wright and Robert Thornton, which I find a little curious because I thought that Gary Anderson was from Scotland. So I don't know if if
apparently
Thornton,
he's on the Finland team. No?
What team? He better not be on the Finland team because he's not Finnish.
Or is he not playing?
Well, he's not playing. It's two-man teams. I mean, he's the odd man out on the Scottish team, and I guess maybe Robert Thornton is ranked higher in the PDC than Gary Anderson right now.
Maybe
that's probably what they're doing there. So what do you think about that? Peter Wright and Robert Thornton.
I'm going to say nay.
Nay. I don't know that Thornton's playing that well. It's a strange format. Tell everyone what the format is, because we didn't talk about that.
They start out with a best-of-9 doubles for Friday for the first round.
So it's alternate start, best-of-9, 501 doubles in the first round.
I'm assuming it's alternate start.
Yes, it's always alternate start.
Best-of-9 doubles.
Are they going to diddle? They're going to cork up the last leg, or is it just whoever wins the? Okay. Because they've done some weird things. They've done mugs away. They've done.
Yeah, they didn't give that information. On the website, but so that's the first round. It's strictly doubles.
Just doubles in the first round.
Then you make it past the first round. You go into, and this goes all the way up to the finals, the second round, semifinals, quarterfinals, semifinals is singles matches, best of 7.
2 singles matches.
2 singles matches. Pick your player that's going first and pick your player that's going second. If each team wins one match, then they play a best of 7 doubles as a tiebreaker.
As a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the final is like 2 doubles.
It's the same thing,
2
but
singles
and
1 double.
It's 9 best of 9, and it's 2 singles matches. First team to win 3.
Well, it's 4 singles matches.
4 singles matches. First team to win 3. So and then you play your singles match and then you reverse it. So you're going to play both guys.
And then the doubles are the decider.
Again.
See, it's kind of interesting. It's all doubles in the prelim, but then when you get to the knockout round, the singles take precedence. And that's why I wanted to talk about playing doubles, because
it's kind of like
they're not committing
like the
to
Davis
it.
Cup in tennis.
Yeah, and the Davis Cup in tennis is basically the way they're playing the final.
Right. Exactly.
It's 2 singles, 1 doubles, and then reverse singles, right? And then we've had the specialists play in the doubles for years. The Bryan brothers or twins or whatever they are, right? And they usually win.
Yeah, not this year.
Yeah. Well, really?
Yeah, they lost in the French.
We're talking about Davis Cup, but okay.
Oh.
Wow. The French. It's just a strange tournament with that clay. It's so slow. Right. I mean, the surface is so slow. I mean, it's just sort of weird. Okay, so where'd we leave off? Australia's got Whitlock and Nicholson.
Well, I'm going to say nay.
Yeah.
The way you're talking about Whitlock.
He's been playing terrible. But then he had like one good day, and I don't know what his problem is. I'm going to look at him closely. He's one of the guys I'm going to study a little bit this weekend and see if I can figure out where he went wrong. Wales, Mark Webster and Richie Burnett. See, I would say yay to that. I think that Wales has a better chance to get through than Australia.
Okay.
So if they play in top 8, Australia and Wales, I would take Wales there. Northern Ireland is next with Brendan Dolan and Michael Mansell. No.
Yeah, I
can't see that happening. 7 is Belgium. The Hybrix brothers beating the Vans.
Beating the Vans?
Van Gerwen and Van Barneveld. Yeah, that's a big ask. I mean, they're from Belgium. Maybe they'll have more fans.
They would have to do that to make the Final Four?
Well, yeah. If
right.
If the seeds hold out.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? 7 seed plays 2 seed, right? The 8 seed, which would be...
Well, since I already said the 1, you'd have to say nay.
Yeah, that's Ireland with Connie Finnan and William O'Connor. See, wow. I mean, and then Germany's 9. So 8 plays 9. See, if we can get by England, we're totally...
Looking good.
We walk into the semi against Australia or Wales. I mean, if we could beat England, which we almost did last year.
Right. Yeah.
If we beat them, we can make the final.
Mm.
I mean, if I haven't seen Larry Butler play much this year, and I got a chance to watch Darren play in March. Was that 2 months ago?
Yeah.
But I mean, if these guys play the way I've seen them play on occasion, I think they have a chance to win. I don't think you're going to see them average like 110. But I can see them averaging in the 90s and watching, Phil and 80 screw up doubles.
Yeah, that's
I can see that happening.
Average in the 90s and hit your doubles.
I think if you
had a high
90s,
percentage on your doubles, average in the 90s and high percentage on your doubles.
Yeah, on Saturday.
Yeah.
I can see you winning with that. I mean, we did it. What was it? It was with Mawson that we beat him, or almost beat him. And then last year, I don't know what happened, but I think the format was different last year.
That's what you're saying.
Last year they had like a bad Saturday, but they played all right Friday, I think is what it was. But that's a pretty good draw for us. 10, Austria, Mensur Sulevic, and Roby John Rodriguez.
I know Sulevic. I don't know the Rodriguez guy.
I don't know. I've seen Sulevic play good, but we were talking on the way here about there's certain people you can't watch throw because you think it'll just somehow by osmosis mess up your own game.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Mensur Sulevic kind of qualifies for me.
I cannot
watch that guy.
I had that guy in league. Ooh, that was rough.
Oh, with the arm pump and down and all that.
Yeah, it was really
I'm
strange.
trying to figure out who you're talking about there, but
But I literally you can't watch that guy
that's
throw.
painful. That's painful to watch. Finland has Jarkko Kumala and
you skipped Canada.
Oh. Well, that was sort of bad. Okay, well, Part
They're
and
gonna call Bill
Sean
now.
Narain.
No,
we caught it in time. John Part and Sean Narain. So who does 11 play? 5?
11 plays 5, and you already said yay to Wales.
Wow. Canada's got a tough draw.
They got to get past Japan first.
First get by Japan, and then get by what I consider like maybe the third favorite in Wales.
Right.
Just because those guys are so experienced, and it's the kind of event that they would get geeked up for.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mark Webster and Richie Burnett. That's my dark horse team for this year. And then 12 is Jarkko Kumalainen. I mean, these Finnish names, they just look like hockey players to me. Yeah, I know. Kumala and Havisa.
Kumalainen?
I'm sure they're good players, and I'm sure they won't win.
There you
Hong
go.
Kong. Royden Lamb and Scott McKenzie. 13 plays 4.
Yeah. But see, then they have to.
I don't know. I mean,
then they have to play the 5 seed if they win.
Well, in the next round. But I mean, I'm basically dismissing Australia as being any sort of threat.
Exactly.
So I'm looking to see who may come in through there. I don't know. I think I'd be happy. I met Scott McKenzie, and I've met Royden. I'd be happy for those guys if they won and got. I don't know if they're going to be able to get by Wales, but Spain's playing the 2 seeds, and then did they almost win it 2 years ago? Elcinas and Rodriguez. I mean, this is the kind of team that's like they played so well. I think they knocked out England a couple of years ago, and they shot lights out. They just shot great. And that's what I'm kind of hoping our guys will do this year. And then, 16th. Give me a break.
You also skipped Sweden.
I skipped Sweden?
Yeah.
Oh, Magnus Karras and Peter Sejuani. And they have to play the 3 seed?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I don't know. Everybody says Magnus Karras is like this, great player, and he's been around, playing like BDO for like 20 years and stuff. And I did see him play good recently, but I just don't consider him like a top level player, like Peter Wright,
right,
or Robert Thornton. I mean, I just short format doubles. I mean, this is where you would think that we would have an advantage, or the Japanese would have an advantage, or because we play more doubles.
Right.
The British guys and the PDC players do nothing but play singles, and that's why I wanted to talk about singles and doubles, because when we come back, I want to pose the question to you why it's so doubles intensive in the first round, and then doubles is only a tiebreaker for the rest of the way. Like what they're actually saying with that. So, sorry, pardon my cold. We'll be back in a minute. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark C. Ponziano. We'll be right back.
What happened?
I don't know. The audio engineer's having a really bad day.
Okay, but
the views and opinions expressed on Dart Talk are those of the hosts. They in no way should be misrepresented, misinterpreted, or made to claim that the universe is against you, your family, your city, or the darting community at large.
Okay, back for the second quarter of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks. Windy City Fabricators, Redwood Darts. We have Mylinda Mannion waiting in the wings. And I really am – I used to say this to people, like kind of half joking. You know, guys come up to you, and they're like, hey, you want to play this tournament? You want to play that tournament? You want to do this? You want to do that? And, you know. Generally, you know, the local guys that I would like to play with, I'm generally booked. You know, I'm kind of I book some tournaments like a year in advance and stuff. So it's like, oh, I'm set up for that. I'm set up for that. But the weird thing is playing doubles isn't really the priority when I go to a dart tournament. You know, I'm not really thinking about doubles. I'm thinking about singles. And then the doubles is sort of like, okay, I look at them kind of as a warm-up for singles.
Right.
Right? So you want to play with somebody who can help you get deep, so you get, you know, more darts under pressure, and you kind of you know, get into game shape for the singles, right? But I remember somebody
does it hurt you though for game shape for the singles, you know, throwing less? You know, the timing's different. You know, you have to wait three players as opposed to just one. And
well, yeah, I mean, it's there's a different rhythm in doubles, and I've told people, I'm like, I don't expect anyone to play their A game playing doubles. I mean, some guys have been doing it so long, they just seem to, you know, be used to it. But I don't know how many people I've seen do really good in the doubles, and then in the singles they kind of flame out. Mm-hmm. Especially people that are kind of new to the circuit and whatnot. But I remember talking to people, and I was talking about getting a singles league going. This is, you know, years ago. And where I was telling everyone in Division I, look, you know, we'd be much better off if instead of playing in league, we just, on Tuesday nights, got together and had a singles league instead. We'd get way more darts in, and it'd be more fun. And then invariably guys are like, well, why don't we just have a doubles league?
Really?
And and I would always say the same thing. I'd always be like, strange. Well, yeah, it's a very odd kind of way of thinking, and I don't know if it's endemic to Chicago or not, but I would always say, well, when's the World Championship of doubles? When it is, you let me know, and we can get a doubles league going. Well, lo and behold, then they started this World Cup thing, and I'm like, okay, is this the World Championship of doubles? And it really isn't, because it's so singles heavy, right?
Right. It's not the world. Yeah, it's just a world team championship.
Once you're out of the preliminaries, the doubles is only 1/3.
And it might not even happen.
Yeah. So at most it's 1/3, and then when you get to the final, it's 20%. Mm-hmm. So as you get higher up, it becomes less and less important. It's
more of a team event, not a doubles event.
Well, it's weird. I mean, it's like if you look at any of the, like you said, Davis Cup, but I was actually thinking more of Ryder Cup. Because in Ryder Cup, if you play 5 matches, only one of them is singles. You have 2 foursomes and 2 best balls, right? So there you have the emphasis on singles is only 20%.
Somebody asked if you want to shoot in Vegas in 2018.
I'll have to check and see if I'm booked for that. I mean, I'm pretty much not going to the Desert Classic anymore till they change the pay structure. I'm not going to I'm not going to any tournaments where they pay out 44% of the entry fees in singles. Just count me out. I don't care who's running them. I'm just not in. You know, enough's enough. I mean, the players need to kind of like get on the same page and be like, you know what? Let's stop going to the tournaments that rip us off. Mm-hmm. And then they'll stop ripping us off. People that keep going to the tournaments that rip us off, enable them to keep ripping us off. I mean, it's pretty simple, right?
Makes sense.
It's like in Caddyshack where Lou raised the price of Coke because he was losing at the track.
Exactly,
I mean, it's like you can't live like that. That's like...
Then you don't get a no Coke.
You know what I'm talking about?
Angie, pick up that blood.
I got you off track.
No, I mean, you really didn't. I mean, let me ask you this, though, because now that you're playing League, I figure all this stuff is now going to come back to you, right?
Possibly.
Scale from 1 to 10. How much do you enjoy playing doubles?
In the general scheme, well, I mean, just playing darts, I mean, I guess I would put it like a 6 or a 7. I mean, if you're going to say that I enjoy playing singles, a 10.
Okay, is that what you're going to say?
Well, yeah.
Well, I'm not going to assume that you might enjoy doubles more than singles.
No,
there are people that do. There are people that enjoy doubles more. You'd rather play singles. Mm-hmm. All right, so I would classify you then as a competitive player, right? You're more. I think the more singles-oriented you are, the more of a competitive as opposed to recreational player you are. If we can make that our ultimate dichotomy. Are you playing for fun or are you playing for
I'd rather
else,
play
right?
singles than.
So you're looking at doubles as being like 6 or 7 compared to singles.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you look at
because it's still enjoyable. I mean, it's still on and playing. You're still competing. So I mean, and you want. I mean, you don't want to lose.
No, but you can have a partner that can make your day like really long and really painful, and not just because they miss,
or real easy.
Well, and that was the point that I wanted to get to. It's like there are, I guess, 2 schools of thought. Like you guys, you have a team captain that's doing your lineup, and he's got to pair people up. So what's the best way to pair people up? Mm-hmm. Like Darren Young and Larry Butler are paired together for this PDC thing because they were the top 2 guys on the list. I'm unconvinced that if America was going to send its best doubles team, if that would be it.
Yeah, but it's not a doubles team. It's not a doubles tournament, really.
Well, but should it be?
Right.
I mean, would that make it more interesting? It seems to me that the PDC has this rigged, not rigged, but I mean, the format favors the Dutch and the English because they have the best singles players.
Right. Do you think there's any,
So why play doubles? That's what I don't get. I don't understand why it's all doubles in the preliminary round, and then the doubles become less and less important.
Well, I don't know either, but I mean, that's just the way they want to run their tournament.
Well, I know, but generally, they have a reason. I mean, what would your reason be for doing it that way? I mean, from a competitive standpoint, from a standpoint of making it a little more even. I mean, if you're designing an event, why would you do it that way? See, that's what I don't understand.
Well,
and they've changed it 5 times.
I'm assuming. Well, yeah, they're looking for the best possible way to. They're taking two players from each team, and trying to make the most compelling tournament, like where everybody's playing everybody. You're playing each other as doubles. You're playing the other team. Then you're playing each opponent in singles and reversing it. And so, in effect, you're playing everybody in a different format. And then you throw doubles in there at the end.
I mean, I know I have a head cold and everything, but I didn't understand any of that. I mean, in the preliminary round, everybody is just playing doubles, and there's no singles at all.
Well, it's only a 3-day tournament, so you can't.
Okay, so you're saying that they don't have time to work in the singles?
They're just getting rid of the preliminary round, really, is what they're doing. They're just throwing doubles in there. They're saying, hey, you come over. And
I think they're taking a huge risk. I think that this is a very poorly designed event. And here's why. If what you want is to have the Sunday finals with the Dutch against the English and the Welsh and the Scots. Well, okay, so that's 4 of the top 5 seeds. Mm-hmm. If that's what you want, if you want these 4 teams or teams this good to make the final, why would you give somebody a crack at them where all they do is play doubles, which they never play? I mean,
what you mean in the preliminary round?
Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me if what you're trying to do is get the best teams forward. You're taking a huge risk, and admittedly, some of these teams,
aren't going to make it anyway.
These guys, but
taking a huge risk doing what? Having a tournament where you're including all these other teams that you say don't have a chance anyway.
It's a huge risk to have the top seeds exposed where they can't use their best darts to advance because they're playing doubles. That's their weakest event. So we're going to use that in the preliminary round and then phase it out. The World Cup of Darts.
Okay, and it's a doubles tournament, right?
Well, is it?
Yes.
It looks to me like a tournament that can't make up its mind.
No.
Yeah.
They're getting they're getting different formats, but everybody's playing.
Yeah, everybody's playing. Yeah.
Each other. You're playing the other guy.
You're only playing one team.
And there is a little bit of strategy. I mean, you have to decide. I mean, okay, if you're Larry Butler or Darren, I mean, if Darren wins or loses the first one, Larry has to win.
See, you're talking about later, after you get out of the preliminary round when you start playing singles.
You're still stuck on the preliminaries.
Well, because I'm not sure you really understood what I was saying. I mean, England is vulnerable. I mean, they're playing two guys from Thailand that may play, half the time may play doubles. Right? And here is like Adrian Lewis and Phil Taylor looking at each other like, okay, you better hit something.
But why are you assuming that you're saying they're setting up a tournament where they could get 4 of the top 5 teams in there to play in the semifinals, and now they're shooting themselves in the foot?
No, what I said was if you're trying to design a tournament to get the best teams to play on Sunday, why would you expose them in the preliminary?
What tournament is designed to get the best 4
All
teams?
All tournaments are. That's why you seed stuff.
Okay,
that's why the 1 seed doesn't play the 2 seed in the round of 64. No, it doesn't always happen. You create an event to increase the likelihood
and you think just
that you'll have a compelling matchup
just because
on Sunday.
Of the preliminary rounds that they're completely not creating a tournament to get their top teams in the finals.
I'm saying if you want to design a tournament, to get your top teams in the finals, and then in the preliminaries you come up with some other wackadoodle format that the top teams are not used to and never play, well, I think that they should play more doubles. I wouldn't mind it being a doubles tournament. I think that would be to our advantage. I think it'd be to the Americans' advantage. We mess around on the diddle tour. We play doubles all the time. You're in a league where 75% of your games are doubles. We play doubles constantly. So why not have a tournament where it's doubles? But see, what they've done here is they phased out the doubles and made it more singles-oriented, and then even more so in the final. So I don't understand why you would do that. Why even bother with the doubles? Or
so
you know
that's
what
I'm asking. What would you do for the preliminary round then? Just have them all play singles?
If they want to have a doubles tournament, keep the doubles in.
It's not called a doubles tournament. You just said that. Okay. Right?
You obviously are not getting what
Is it called a doubles tournament?
No.
Okay.
Are there doubles in it?
Yes.
Okay.
So what's the difference? Why does it have to be – why can't the first round be doubles? Why can't the preliminary round be doubles?
Why can't the first round be 4-man? I mean, you could have a tournament. You could have anything you want. Why have this? What is the logic behind this tournament? What is the logic behind?
I didn't set it up.
I'm asking you to, as a reasonable dart player, to come up with some logical reason you would want to do it this way, because I can't come up with one.
Because it's fun.
Okay, let's move on.
How about that? I mean,
let's move on.
Why does there always have to be a specific reason? They have.
Why does there have to be a specific
directors or something that came up with a reason why they want to do a preliminary round of doubles, and what's the big deal?
You are killing me, man. You are like literally killing me tonight. What's the deal? Look, you design a tournament the way you want to design it. Why is the tournament seeded? It is seeded. I'm not quite sure how they came up with the numbers, but it is seeded. Why bother seeding it?
Because they chose to. I don't know.
Okay, there's a reason that you seed stuff. We've talked about seeding for years. I mean, you know why they seed.
So 1 doesn't play 2. I get it.
Yeah, okay.
In the second round.
Or 3.
Right.
Or 4.
In the second round.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, why do you do that?
I know, because you want your top players to play you want your best teams to be playing at the end.
So if you follow that logic, if you follow the logic that this is how we want to structure our tournament, why would you have a first round like this? I mean, I think they should just have doubles all the way through.
You're basing that on the fact that the top teams don't play doubles.
I'm not basing it on that. I'm saying we have an advantage because we play doubles all the time.
Okay, but so what you're saying, if I get this right, what you're saying is so you look at these teams and you take the top 4 teams and they don't play doubles they only play singles all the time.
Well, all the PDC guys.
So
yeah.
You're saying, so why structure a tournament where you're going to give these unseeded teams a chance because they play doubles all the time?
Well, you're not structuring a tournament because of that. That's just the result of how you've structured it.
There you go.
Okay. But why structure it that way to begin with?
Because it's a different type of tournament. It's not your
I don't even know what type of tournament this is. I really don't.
Okay.
I mean, have you ever seen a structure that changed like that?
Yes, in the Davis Cup. In tennis.
It doesn't change. The Davis Cup format is the same all the way through.
But they're structuring it like that because you don't have to play doubles. If you win enough points, you don't play the last match.
In the first round of the Davis Cup and in the final of the Davis Cup, you play the same format. It doesn't change from round to round to round.
What I'm saying is it. Yes, but they're gearing it not exactly like it, but kind of like it. Whereas like you're playing singles and you're playing doubles, and if your team sweeps, you don't have to play the fourth match.
Well, we'll see how compelling this is. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you don't, when you're up 2-0, you don't have to play one.
Right. So they're just structuring it kind of like, You
have no idea why it's structured this way.
No, neither do you. I'm just saying
I'm trying to figure it out. You just seem to think it doesn't matter.
Why does it matter? This is the way the tournament is structured. Why does there have to be a specific that they're
It doesn't
not saying.
Make any sense to me.
It does.
I don't see the logic. If you want to have doubles, why not have doubles all the way through? Why not make the doubles progressively longer and longer, and then as a tiebreaker go like some sort of round robin singles with one leg? I mean, that'd be pretty dramatic. I mean, it's just a weird format.
Okay.
It's not a doubles tournament though.
Right.
Right? It's a two-person team tournament. I mean, it's different. Strange.
Right, and so it's a two-person team tournament. And
well, they'd be better off having four-person teams.
Well,
there'd be more drama now.
That's a totally different tournament.
Because who do you sit? Well, who do you sit, and who do you play, and how do you juggle it around? I think that's a much more interesting format, if you want to talk about it, than this.
Right. So instead of going into this tournament and watching it and enjoying it, you're going into this tournament.
No, I'll watch it and enjoy it.
Going into this tournament going, I don't know why they're doing it this way. This is stupid.
The reason is that they have an opportunity to really do something unique insofar as have a doubles tournament. Try to identify the best doubles team in the world. They're all set up to do that, but they don't want to do it. Why? I don't know. Why not have a third person but only two can play, one of the whoever's off sits on the singles and then the tiebreaker's triples or something. I mean, that's more like an English Super League format than anything else they do. I think league players would relate to that. I think league players can relate to doubles and switching partners and playing triples and all this stuff. So come back after a break. We'll talk about playing doubles. We'll get Mylinda Mannion on here. She's got some things to say about tournaments and missing doubles. We talked about missing doubles last week, but apparently we're going to talk about it some more. Listen to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark C. Pronunciamo. We'll be right back.
Dart Talk agrees to adhere to the Geneva Convention in treating fairly its prisoners in their war against lackluster darting administration and behaviour.
Back for the second half of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators, Redwood Darts. We have Mylinda Mannion waiting in the wings. So here's the deal. If you just think it's a stupid topic, just say, you know what, I think this is a stupid topic. Let's move on, and we'll just move on. I feel like I was like repeating myself.
No, I just think, I didn't think it was a stupid topic. You were, I think, what I gather from it is you think it's a stupid format, but you're trying to figure out why they're running. It's not. You would just rather have them do a doubles tournament instead of this tournament.
Yeah, I think it's half measures.
But to answer the question why they set it up this way, you have no idea.
Well, you got to try to, I think it's worth trying to figure out. I mean, to me, I'm not sure it's a stupid format.
To me, I don't think it's worth trying to figure out. To me, I'm just like, okay, let's play the darts and we'll see what happens.
Okay, but I mean, if it was hockey, and they went from the 2-2-1-1-1 to the 2-3-2, that would matter.
I don't try to figure out why they did it. They voted on it. That's it. It's good enough for me.
So you're one of those guys.
Well, what do I care?
I want to be like that. I want to be like
what
that.
Do I
want to
care
be where I don't care.
Change it from a 2-3-2 to a 2-1-1-1.
I think it's significant, and it has, an effect on the competition.
Yeah,
I think rules like that, change the competition, and then it begs you to answer, well, why are you changing the competition? Especially if the rules seem to favor one competitor versus another. Okay.
But not in this instance.
Let's see if Mylinda Mannion managed to stay awake through the last segment. She may have just fallen asleep. I mean,
or just turned it off.
And just said, I can't associate with these two guys. Mylinda, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I would never turn you guys off.
We figured we were turning you off. Is really what it came down to.
What do you want to weigh in on any of the last 20 minutes of blather?
My female opinion on this would be maybe that the doubles create some kind of drama. If your partner misses something that you think they should have taken out, or if one person doesn't play well, it adds to the mental game. That's the only thing I can think of, is it's a little more drama and a little more mental for these guys at the beginning of the competition.
Yeah, I think that your annoyance level, I think I've seen Phil get pretty annoyed with, was it Wade or Lewis? I mean, and then, playing really uninspired, sort of terrible darts. I mean, I've seen him do that.
You let your partner bring you down?
Well, look, I mean, you've played enough doubles, Mylinda. Do you prefer doubles over singles?
It depends on who I've gotten to set with. If I get to set my own doubles partner, I always have a good time. I try to set up with people that I know I'm not going to have that kind of a mental issue with. Sometimes in a luck of the draw that's a doubles, that can kind of throw you off a little bit. And I think in a situation like this where you're taking the top two players, now in the case of Larry and Darren, they obviously get along and they're good friends, but that might not be the case in every one of these countries. So you're taking two people and putting them together where they didn't really have a chance to particularly pick their team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any personal issues with a lot of the teams I've seen. I don't know that, like, look at Sean Narain and John Part. I mean, I don't know how well John knows Sean. Right? I mean, because John really doesn't play as much in North America as he used to. You look at the Hybrix brothers, on the other hand, I have four brothers, and I guarantee you, if I played with two of them, we might not make it to the last leg.
You wouldn't make it. You wouldn't even make it on the plane.
Well, I just, it's always been really contentious, and it seems like Ronnie and Kim Hybrix aren't really like that. Whitlock and Nicholson have played together in this event before, but I don't know outside of that if they even share a cab. It's like the Yankees, 25 separate cabs, whatever they used to say. So I don't know. That's, I think with the professional players, I don't know that you really get the issues that Melinda's talking about. Like, oh, my God, I can't believe you missed that and all that. I mean, that's more of a, the attitude I always have in doubles is I'm going to do everything I can, and I trust my partner, and if he misses, he misses. I miss too. So, I mean, I can't really you know, I've had issues with partners that weren't prepared to play.
Well, that would be worse. That would be the worst. Missing is one thing.
There's guys that I will never play with again simply because I had to go find them before every match, or guys that were like literally asleep in their cars, getting third called, and stuff like that. I don't want to play with guys like that, you know. But outside of that, I mean, there's a few people I can think of playing with that, you know, just make me uncomfortable. And if I'm uncomfortable, I'm not going to play my best, you know, so I don't want to play with those guys either.
Right.
You know, but outside of that, I mean...
Well, I think that's what she's saying, though. Is if you could set your partners, then you don't have that... But if all of a sudden you get a luck of the draw and you get drawn one of those people that make you uncomfortable, then, you know, you're pretty much screwed.
Well, what about playing mixed doubles? We never really talk about that. Did you ever play mixed with your significant other?
Yes.
How about you?
Yeah.
So we've all had that.
Yeah. No, we played in a mixed league.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot that.
Yeah.
Right. So how was that
on
for
Thursdays?
you?
It was all right.
Yeah,
it was fun.
But that was like a casual.
It's kind of like playing co-ed softball. It's not the same as playing competitive.
So you don't take it as seriously.
No.
So, you know, in tournaments, and you correct me on this, Mylinda, tournaments, you know, mixed doubles, the women take it pretty seriously.
Very seriously, yes.
And what do you attribute that to?
I think the women that show up at tournaments are usually there to play anyway, and we all take everything very seriously. But when I first started playing, I heard from guys that the women are there to look good. And there's nothing like a comment along those lines to get a woman fired up and make her take it a whole lot more serious and show that she's capable of hanging there.
Women are there to look good? That seems like a very progressive attitude.
Oh, well, yes. There's a lot of that with women's darts.
Oh, so there's a lot of progressive thinking in the dart world, is what you're saying?
Especially when it comes to some... Thinking? Yeah, especially when it comes to women and playing. And you can see that in a lot of these discussion groups on Facebook. Inevitably, it always kind of turns back into that discussion when somebody posts anything about getting a woman at a luck of the draw or playing a mixed event or women's league teams.
We talked about that like a month ago.
Yeah.
I told the Kelly Gallagher story about how she set me straight and all that. Don't assume, you know, you have the diddle and all this other stuff. I mean... well, I don't know what to make of some of this stuff. I mean, you're a woman, Mylinda. I mean, I know that I've talked to women that are feel like this is very, very prevalent, that they are disrespected as players because they're women.
I don't know that I would say I feel I'm disrespected as a player. I feel like when I'm playing in a trips event or playing in a mixed doubles event, I definitely feel like I have something to prove. I feel like the women in those events definitely make the difference. If you have a strong female partner on a trips team, that team's always going to go further, no matter who the two guys are.
Well,
for the most part.
I don't know. I believe I've managed to sabotage a couple of good women in triples over the years. I mean, I don't know.
She said for the most part. She didn't say 100% of the time.
Do you enjoy playing triples?
Me personally, I don't particularly love to play the triples events. I know that's where the money is, and I understand the format. I just kind of struggle with that event. Usually I think maybe it's the end of the tournament and I'm tired and I'm done and my heart's maybe not so much in it. But I prefer the mixed doubles events. If I'm going to play something that's a mixed event, I would prefer to play the mixed doubles. And Ryan and I have kind of come to an agreement early on in our relationship that we only partner up with each other after I went further in a tournament with somebody else than he did with his partner. So very quickly we decided that we were playing together, and we actually shoot very well together. But I know there's couples out there who don't.
I mean, I've literally had strangers go up to Jill telling her, you shouldn't play with your boyfriend.
Really?
And I'm just sort of, and I'm standing there, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe she's right. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I guess there's a couple of schools of thought on that. Depends kind of
every
what your
couple's
relationship
different.
is like. Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, I know Roger Carter plays with Vera all the time, and they do really, really well and always seem to have a great time. I mean, it's weird. I mean, to get a rapport with a partner takes a few events. I don't think you just – there are very few people that you can just click from the first time you get to a dartboard.
Exactly.
I've only seen a couple of guys like that I've clicked with, like, immediately. Mylinda, where are we on time? Are we good?
We should probably take a break soon.
I want to get to this stuff. We're going to take a quick break, Mylinda. When we come back, let's get to the stuff you didn't get to last week.
Okay, perfect.
Do you have
Thank
your
you.
little notebook and your little semi-novel there? Just kidding.
Absolutely. I have everything written out. I'm good to go, my friend.
Okay, well then we will be be back in a minute. You're listening to Dart Talk with Steve Poncello, Mystery Mark, and Mylinda Mannion, and we'll be back after this. It'll be real quick. Back for the fourth quarter of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone. Stay in the zone. TheDartZone.com is an official
Stay in the
distributor.
zone.
Obviously, you can't handle the audio tonight. I don't know what's going on over there.
I don't either. Something goofy.
You are now, and for
okay. So last week we talked about all sorts of stuff with Mylinda Mannion, but there were some issues that she wanted to get to that we did not have time to address because, and we're already probably going to run long tonight, and it's not an arbitrary thing as far as us cutting it down. You know, the longer we do the video, the harder it is for people to download and all this other stuff. So I'm trying to save people on bandwidth, the people that like to watch, as opposed to most everybody just gets the audio anyway. Anyway, you still with us, Mylinda?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, so what was the first thing that we did not get to last week that you wanted to have us address?
I think we were going to talk about the Women's Remote League that's currently going on.
Okay, yeah, that was interesting. Tell us about that.
Basically what it is we have teams of 2 to 4 women from right now across the East Coast. We have 6 teams that are signed up from this latest session of this league. We play at one bar. Everything is done online. Obviously, it's soft tip. Everything is done online through the machine, and we get to play each other and play people that maybe we wouldn't get a chance to play any other time. It's a format where it is doubles and singles games, cricket no one, and I think it's a great way to introduce new women into darts and get them interested. Do it in a kind of a non-threatening manner. It kind of leads into the next point about women at tournaments with guys.
Okay.
But this is completely free of any male influence. We can go, we can have a good time. If we miss, we miss. If we hit, we hit.
So
we're proud of ourselves.
Can't bring your significant other or your boyfriend or nothing?
We try to leave them home.
Okay, so you're talking about this is like soft tip remote play where your team is at one bar playing a team at another bar?
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Okay, and no men are allowed?
No men, all women.
Why do I get the impression somehow that we're being blamed for something we didn't do, and somehow the absence of us is a solution to some problem? What problem are we addressing by not having the guys around?
Well, I think the sport is dominated by men, not because there's any difference in ability. I think there's a difference in confidence. And the women don't necessarily get involved in darts if they don't have somebody else leading them into the game. There aren't too many women that just show up at the bar and play darts and end up in a league. They have to kind of be led into it. And it can be a little intimidating to play with you guys. You're pretty serious and a little testosterone laden, and it can definitely be tricky. So this is a place where the women can play. It's non-threatening. You're not going to have Ryan Barnett come in and drop a 7 mark in cricket on you every round.
Does he do that anymore?
Have you seen him play soft tip recently?
I haven't seen Ryan throw all year. That's why I was kidding around. Are you down with this, what she's saying? Does this make sense to you?
Yeah, it does, actually.
That the guys... Now you could take this one of two ways. You could say the guys scare the women off, or the women are sort of lacking in some sort of, whatever you call it,
maybe a little bit of confidence, and
assertiveness.
Playing with your peers is going to give that to you.
A lot of people...
How is playing with your peers supposed to help you if guys are the problem? If guys are the problem, you should be playing guys.
You have to, well, like she's talking about getting women involved, too, so you're beginners, and you want them to get to know the game and confidence that they can actually play the game before you start, going up against...
This is not the first time I've heard this argument, and so, therefore, not the first time I've disagreed with it.
Right. Of course not.
Well, I don't disagree for the sake of disagreeing, unlike some people. My take on it, Mylinda, and you could tell me what you think of this, is if you're interested in getting people to play and to continue playing and to join leagues and to play leagues regularly and to keep coming back and to maybe go to tournaments, they have to actually enjoy the game. The people aspect of it, I'm not sure that's ever going to be a matter of whether somebody goes on the road or not.
If you get them involved in the game early, they enjoy the game, and then if you deal with the...
Well, but you have to enjoy the playing of the game. You have to enjoy, and maybe be a little bit of a masochist, because, when you first start out, you miss a lot, but you have to enjoy the sheer act of throwing a dart and hitting a target.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't...
But how do you learn that you enjoy that game if you're in an environment where you can't relax enough to learn to enjoy the game?
Well, I don't know what environment is she talking about then?
I'm talking about, around here in my area anyway, if you don't play in league, what you're going to be playing in is a luck of the draw.
Well, can't you just go play on your own? Do you have to go play a luck of the draw? Because that's a competition. If you don't
I guess you could go to a bar and play with your friends, but any type of an organizational format around here is going to be a luck of the draw or a regular league. Okay. And some of those regular leagues, especially in our area where we do have a lot of really phenomenal players that are out here outside of Philly that play, those teams and those leagues can be intimidating for a newer player. And especially for the women who are showing up without a significant other maybe there, who don't want to be perceived as just being in the bar to meet guys. They're there to play, they're there to relax, they're there with their peers, and it creates a different environment.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. When you say that they can be intimidating, either they're deliberately trying to intimidate you or you're being intimidated by whatever they're doing.
Right. So well, as a new player, and this isn't to a guy or to a girl, but as a new player, if you were to come up against Johnny Kay or Darren Young or Ryan Barnett, who are all here within an hour and a half radius, and that's who you have to play, and you get waxed on a nightly basis, that might take away your love of the game. Now, for some guys, maybe that instills a drive to get better and play harder. A lot of girls don't have that same drive in them. They get discouraged easily. A format like this where it's all the women playing together, it's encouraging, it's supportive. There isn't that type of a feeling of just getting your behind handed to you on a weekly basis.
Okay. I mean, I don't see that this is if the problem is women don't like getting beat, and then getting beat doesn't drive them to get better, then what difference does it make who beats them?
I think it's more that new players need to learn the game, and to learn the game, it's harder to learn the game when you're getting beat and beat badly.
Well, look, I mean, if there's somebody that's only played for a week or something and, plays a couple of legs with Ryan, I think that'd be fine, so they can see what the game looks like when it's played by somebody that knows how to play, assuming Ryan hasn't forgotten.
Oh, no, he knows exactly how to play.
You see what I'm saying? But then it doesn't do any good for them to play Ryan for 7 hours a night. I mean, I understand that point. I just am not like a big fan of segregation.
No, and I agree. I don't think the point of the league is to be a segregated league. I think the point of the league is to introduce new players in. I mean, I play on a team with a couple of girls who have played very sporadically, and one that this is her first time ever playing any sort of organized darts, and she's doing fantastic. And it is kind of a nurturing environment for these newer players to come in and play. And it's going to instill that love of the game because they are playing with their girlfriends and having a good time and sitting at the bar and not having to travel every week, and the stress of that is taken out of it. And it's just a nice, fun, easy, relaxing format.
Well, then hopefully you get them into tournaments, and
then they're going to be like, I don't like this. My friends aren't here. I'm not having a good time. These people are all serious, and I just got killed.
You're hoping if they get their brains beat in first couple times, they've had enough experience playing and they enjoy the game, that then they realize that that's the next level.
Exactly. I think having somebody, each of these teams has a more experienced female playing on it. Colleen's team, Colleen Fournier, Johnny Kay's girlfriend, she plays on the remote league with us, and she's got a team that she put together and has a couple of new girls on it.
Does she punch people on league nights?
No. Colleen is a lot of bark.
Well,
she's awesome. You have to love Colleen.
It's remote. You can't see if she's punching her teammates. If you.
Oh no, we have cameras. We can see.
So you can see the people standing behind the player.
Yeah, actually, the cameras are pretty broad. You can see a good swath of the bar. You don't get away with too much.
No pun intended.
Ha ha ha! You guys are fun.
Well, I don't know. I mean, can I click on something and watch one of these matches online?
I don't think anything is streamed yet, and I don't want to say too much because I didn't talk to the league operator before I came on tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, you could blame everything on me. Everyone else does.
But I don't know that you can watch any of the remote games on any of these boards online anywhere yet.
Okay. Well, you'll have to keep me posted on this. See, again, philosophically, I'm not sure I agree with the logic behind doing it, so I'm unconvinced that it would succeed. I mean, maybe it will. I mean,
well, what are you determining success as? The fact that they all get together and have fun and play darts?
Well,
or
no, success would be...
that they all move up and start playing into tournaments and become world class?
No, not that. I think success would be a high retention rate. Success would be where the league kind of grows a little bit every season, and the vast majority of people come back and keep playing.
Well, and I'll tell you, we just wrapped up our season. Last Thursday was our last game of this session, and this was a complete experiment that was set up by a couple people from our area. Next session, we are looking to add a team from Florida, a team from Kentucky, a team from West Virginia, and I think a team from Ohio. So we are looking to grow it. And if you start thinking about the amount of girls that maybe might not have played darts without this, I think what we're doing is growing the sport. And I think that's the whole point of darts right now in America, is that we do need to grow this sport.
Well, I mean, I think it's great that you're trying something, and I hope it succeeds. I don't know that I buy the rationale, but that's fine. I mean, it's, if you can keep it growing and you keep people playing, I think that's the most important thing, is that, people are out there playing, and, I just, the remote stuff, I don't have much of a feel for it, but I'll try it again and see. I mean, some people really like it. I just find it very strange.
You should have Jill put a team together for us.
There's no soft tip in the city of Chicago,
That's
really.
True.
She would have to go out to the burbs, and Jill's got...
She doesn't have time for that.
Well,
I bet we could take care of that.
Well, take care of what? Giving her time?
No, getting the boards around.
Well, you should talk to me, offline about that, because I actually had a long chat with somebody about that fairly recently. So what was okay? So we did the remote dart league, and then you kind of touched on something about the behavior of men at dart tournaments.
Well, I guess I personally have never seen this, and maybe those of you who know me, I'm 6 feet tall. I'm not a delicate flower, and I'm dating Ryan Barnett.
Well, you don't know Mylinda. Mylinda was like a 17 model at the age of 15. She's like 6'1". I don't know, 106 pounds or something with those really thin.
I love you.
Thin bones, like one of those like pert little noses, and just a light dash of freckle on the top of these really big cheekbones. And she's got those like big doe eyes, and then she's got like black hair and green eyes. So she's kind of raven cat looking.
Okay.
That all fair?
You were not at the same tournament I was at, but that's okay. I'll take that description.
Virginia Beach. It couldn't have changed that much in the last, 2 months. Anyway, okay, so
I've been seeing posts online and hearing from other women that sometimes at tournaments guys can get a little out of hand, and there's been some behaviors that have been crossing the line into unacceptable.
Well, hard to believe.
Not really.
And I think what we need to get out there is that when this happens, that it's not acceptable. And these ladies do need to go and make reports to the tournament director. And if it comes down to some of these things that you're hearing, honestly, to the authorities.
Yeah, these are coming out like way after the fact.
Yeah, like people are talking about it on discussion boards now for things that have happened 6 months, a year ago in the past, and was never reported to anybody. And to me, as a woman, that's a disservice, because if you're allowing a guy to behave like this at a tournament, drunk or not, and he's done it to you, then he's going to go out and do it to somebody else. So the women's behavior has to be reported, and the guys need to not blame it on alcohol or anything else, and understand that the women that are there to play darts.
I've seen some women behave like extremely poorly at tournaments. It's not just guys.
Oh, I agree.
I think Brenda Rausch doesn't listen to the show, so I won't mention Brenda. But okay. I can think of a couple of things that I've seen at dart tournaments that I don't believe I even saw playing football. I mean, I've seen some really, and a lot of it I consider, and again, I have no idea what specific things you're talking about, Mylinda, so don't take this the wrong way. There's a lot of horseplay that goes on, and part of the fun of a dart tournament for recreational darters is they're kind of, getting out of the house for the weekend, and they're all having a good time, and the normal rules really don't apply. Now,
I agree 100%.
I'm not excusing anything, but I mean, I've seen these tournaments, and I know myself. Like, if I go to a dart tournament, I might drink more than I normally do. I might play a Friday night draw and get way more hammered than I would if I was, at home, because all I got to do is walk up the stairs. I don't have to drive anywhere, stuff like that. So, I mean, I think that, there's a different, for a lot of people, there's a different standard of behavior that when they go to tournaments than they do when they kind of like play in their local leagues and stuff like that. And again, I don't know what
Yeah,
what
but
all anybody's really talking
isn't
about.
That still to me, that's still a problem. Okay, that's like just saying, all right, well, it's Friday night. We're going out to the bar and we're just going to get hammered and act like belligerent idiots.
That's what people do.
Right. Okay.
That's what Friday night is when you're young.
And there are women who will tolerate that, but there's also women who won't.
Well, it's hard. It's very difficult if the women are engaged in the horseplay to figure out where the line is. I was at a bar Sunday night, where this little bartender's like 5'2", talking to some guy who's like 5'6", and at one point they started slap fighting.
Really?
Adrian, I told you. And some guy.
Really?
And he tagged her. And I'm just standing there like, okay. And then, they're all fine and they're friends and everything, but you don't really know. I'm pretty sure that's wildly inappropriate.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, I don't know. I've seen stuff at tournaments that, like, that was the first thing I said when I started doing the show is, there's a lot of stuff I'm not going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I think what it comes down to is when somebody says no, that's enough, or, that you've crossed the line, that's the point that it has to stop. And I don't disagree. I think there are plenty of women out there who are crazy and act up and do things that are inappropriate just as much as there are guys out there. But the fact of the matter is, once that line is crossed, it just kind of needs to stop.
Look, I mean, we're talking about tournaments where the vast majority of people are, probably, I think it's fair to say they're recreational players. I mean, some may have more skill than others, but no one's trying to make a living. The vast majority of people that go to tournaments only go to 2 or 3 a year, and it's almost like a vacation convention kind of an attitude that people have. That's why they have so many dart tournaments in Vegas, because there's, you can go have fun. So if you can't legislate the fun out of everything, right? With these tournaments, I mean, we get people talking about a pro tour. Obviously, this is the way the fans are supposed to be. The fans are supposed to be drunk and having a good time, not the players.
Right.
They're supposed to be.
I think in general, I mean, it's a male-dominated sport, but you want to have everybody involved, and if they're both involved in horseplay, that's one thing. But if the men are involved in horseplay and the women are just trying to play in a tournament and getting harassed,
well, I think that there's other kinds of harassment that go on. I think a lot of the guys,
as opposed to an equal opportunity tournament where everybody's just out having fun and playing darts.
No, I mean, I think that's a point that we've actually never heard on the show. How women should deal with harassment at the dart hall.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
and like I said, I've never personally experienced it. I've never had an issue with anybody getting out of line with me.
Oh, well, we can
every
fix
time
that.
I've gone, what's the hell you?
She doesn't know me, right?
No.
Okay, we can.
But I've never had the issue. But being on the show and having a voice for these other women that I'm hearing that have had issues, and there's even been guys that have said, hey, I've been in a situation where I've witnessed something that made me uncomfortable. I just think that there has to be a little bit of awareness brought to the situation and let these women know that the tournament director is the right person to address it with, and that the tournament directors, when it does come up, need to take it seriously.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, most of the tournament directors aren't professional tournament directors. They're volunteers and stuff like that with varying degrees of, management expertise and what have you. But, I mean, if you thought of the dart hall as a workplace, there's a lot of stuff that wouldn't fly.
Well, sure.
In like the normal workplace. But what you're basically saying, Mylinda, is, if something happens, it doesn't do much good to post it on Facebook a year later. You should go to the tournament director and say, hey, this just happened. Rectify this.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Airing it out on Facebook isn't helping anybody, and not being able to address it at the time just allows that behavior to continue.
Okay, I think I know a post that she's talking about, actually. I think that was one of these long things I read or something.
Yes.
But, okay. Well, I don't know how prevalent this is. I mean, most of the darters I know I think 99% of them, all the men behave like perfect gentlemen, and all the women behave like perfect ladies. So I mean, I don't know how prevalent this problem is.
And that's what I'm saying. I've never had an issue. I'm friends with a lot of the recreational players as well as a lot of the top level players. I've never felt uncomfortable or threatened. I've traveled to tournaments by myself and never had an issue. In fact, I usually experience just the opposite. I've had guys that have said to me, "What's that?"
You're harassing men?
No, guys come up and say, is everything okay? Do you need to get walked up to your room? Are you okay walking up there by yourself? Guys are usually
walking
looking out
a girl
for the
home
women
from school isn't really as gallant as we make it sound, right? We have ulterior motives. Right?
Well, most
it's
of the time.
not just that we don't want you to wear your arms out.
I understand that too, but I don't think in the case with me especially, and having Ryan around, that's what these guys are looking for.
No, I think a lot of the guys act really good.
Well, they're all planning on the fact that maybe Ryan won't be around, even if it's a year from now.
Oh, so this is like long term.
Yeah,
I see. So you're very strategical.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You got to plant.
I don't know.
You got to plant.
I think I need to avoid him. Mike sounds like trouble.
It's Mark, by the way.
Mark, I'm sorry. I knew that too.
That's all right.
Mark sounds like trouble.
Real quick, what takes more skill, cricket or 501?
Soft tip or steel?
I don't know. Pick one.
Steel.
I would say, for me personally, 501 and knowing my outs and being able to correct when I miss my outs, because I'm not good enough to hit everything I think I should hit. For me, 501 is a little bit more of a challenge. In soft tip, it's cricket all day long. For soft tip in 501, I'm hitting that bullseye over and over and over again, and it doesn't take a whole lot of mental thought for me, where cricket is more strategic for soft tip.
You buy that?
I actually do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're playing 501 where all you do is throw bullseyes until you get the 51 or something, then, well, yeah. I mean, you've basically invented a game that, takes most of the skill out of 501.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, great. I mean, but I don't know that the pros play that. They play like double in, double out, split bull 501.
Okay.
And when I play that, which we do play that in a couple of the leagues that I play, that can be a little bit more of a challenge. But in general, for soft tip, if you're going to any of the soft tip tournaments, you're playing full bull. And for women, it's single ins or open in, open out, full bull.
See, I don't know. It just, playing devil's
advocate. That doesn't even sound like a game.
Well, I mean, it sounds to me like she's basically saying women should be coddled. Is what?
No, I'm saying I wish.
Open in, open out. Women should play by themselves,
she said
so
they
don't feel intimidated.
She didn't say they should.
I mean, I don't know that I buy any of this.
No, I'm saying that's what we play at tournaments. I'm absolutely not saying that's the way it should be.
Well, why are they playing?
If you have a women's A division, why are we playing open in, open out, full bull?
I don't know. I don't know why guys play it either.
Right.
I don't understand it. It takes all the strategy and all the mental aspect of the game out of it.
Well, I am going to check on that. I am actually going to be at a soft tip tournament in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to make a point of talking to the guys that are running it and try to get their rationale for why they do stuff, because I think people would find that interesting. Not you, obviously, but other people might.
I would find it interesting to hear why. Absolutely, I would find it interesting to hear why.
I want to talk to a couple of people about that and just kind of see.
It's not that I don't find anything interesting.
Well, if it doesn't make your phone buzz, I guess it's not that important. Was there anything else we cut you off from last week, Mylinda?
No, I think that's it. If anybody wants to get involved in the Women's Remote League and they're friends with me on Facebook, I have a lot of Facebook friends, or they have somebody who knows me through Facebook, I can get them the information to get signed up or what they need to know. We do play on Thursday nights. It starts at 7:30 Eastern, and we can get the rest of the information from there.
You can forget about anybody in the Central Time Zone. Nobody's going to be able to play League at 6:30.
6:30?
Yeah, there's no way.
I think if we get more people involved in other areas, what we'll probably do is have different time starts.
Yeah, time zone divisions. Have a central division and an eastern division and a
exactly
mountain time. You'll never get anybody there. Maybe West Coast. I don't know. You could probably do something like that. I don't know what you're going to do on the playoffs, but gotta do something.
We haven't had playoffs yet.
Who gets the time?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we're kind of thinking down the road there. You could feel free. Dart Talk has a Facebook page. If you want to post anything about your online league there, feel free to do that.
Oh, great. Thank you.
If you want to email me something, maybe I could put a slide up and we can put something up like where the commercials are supposed to go that I don't sell.
Okay, I will definitely do that for you.
All right, thanks for coming on, Mylinda. You got anything else?
No.
Did we pick a winner? Did you pick a winner for the
No, we
World
did
Cup
not.
of non-doubles or whatever that is? Whatever we're calling that tournament. Who will do better, Canada or America? Let's start with that.
I'll go America.
Even though we have to play England in the first round.
Yeah, second round. Yeah.
You think we're going to do better than the Canadians?
I'm hoping.
I don't know if you're going to get a lot of action on that one. And then who's going to ultimately win? What are your final four? Recap it.
We never got to the final. Well, we had Netherlands, England, Wales, and we never picked a fourth. We didn't get to it.
Wasn't it Scotland?
All right, we'll go Scotland.
And then who wins?
I'll join you, and let's go with Wales with the upset.
You like Wales with the upset?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Wales is our dark horse pick, but our smart money's on the Dutch.
Smart money's on the Dutch.
On the Dutch.
Yeah.
Okay, you gotta want to weigh in on that,
favorites.
Mylinda. You know who's gonna win?
I got to go with the Dutch too. I got to go with the Vans.
With the Vans.
Yeah.
Van B. Yeah. I think that they're playing better right now. I mean, who knows what'll happen? I mean, 80 and Phil can, light it up at any time. It just they don't seem to play well in this format. I don't even know how they got through last year.
Somebody voted for Canada. Big shock for you to guess who it was.
Hey, I will tell this to the smartest chat room in the business right now. I will be rooting for Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any way they play America unless it's in the final. So I will root for Canada because I like John and I like Sean.
Yeah.
And I wish them all the best. I think they got a totally rough draw.
Crabby draw.
They got a rough draw, but they can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
John's got the experience, and Sean's going to be like not beginner's luck, but I think Sean can just kind of show up and show everyone his game, and I've always been impressed with his game, so I'm looking forward to it. So that starts Friday. I was thinking of tweeting results and stuff like that, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to do it. I'm supposed to go to the Cub game.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, you got to get the bobblehead.
The All-American Girl bobblehead or something. I'm like, oh, God. I've missed all the bobbleheads.
Not for you, of course.
Well, no, I've missed all the bobbleheads.
Right.
They only give out 10,000, and then we got there, and they're like, oh, we're out. And I'm like, I see people walking around with bags of 6 or 7, and I'm like, I'm going to have to write
Something's wrong
something
with
to
this
the Cubs.
picture.
No wonder they fired the radio station. Anyway, thanks for coming on, Mylinda. Sorry we went long. We will be back next week, our normal time.
Correct.
But then the week after that, we are going to go dark.
Yes.
We're both out of town the week of the 18th.
No show.
So I don't know if we're going to do a double show or we'll try to figure something out. But that's in 2 weeks. But we will be back here next Wednesday, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific. I don't know what time in London. 1 in the morning. I don't know. Whatever it is. 6 hours.
I have no idea.
6 and 8. 2 in the morning in England. Anyway, thanks to Mylinda Mannion for coming on again and espousing the women's point of view. Since we can't do that,
absolutely.
It's nice to have somebody
Right.
do that, right?
Sure.
Hey, thanks for having me again.
Sure. Let us know.
Hopefully there will be no echo this time.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what happened last week. Let me know how this online thing or this remote thing works out. It's an interesting concept. I'm curious how it's going to play out, I think.
I will keep you posted.
Okay. Thanks, Mylinda. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll stick around in the chat room for a little bit, but otherwise we're out. And we will talk to you next week. Everybody take care. Thanks for listening.